You have dreams, not work ethic. These are words literally spoken to me by my stepdad during a conversation about how my ambition was not matching my actions. And it was a tough conversation. My ego and pride wanted to convince me that I was doing more than enough, but he was right. While I have been doing a good amount, I've been writing at a level I've been comfortable in for a little too long. I've been craving a new challenge, a new chapter, yet I've been procrastinating, allowing the excuses of, well, I need to learn this. I need to look like this. I need to have X amount of money or success or whatever it is in order to start really doing the work. And reality is, you'll never be ready. You just have to take the first step and then the next and then the next. Major change doesn't happen overnight. I've been fooling myself. If you go too hard one day, chances are you'll fall even harder the next. Small incremental steps over a period of time is where you'll really find long-term success. Laying down brick after brick until you have a building. And it sounds so easy and simple, right? Yet the hardest thing to do is to go all in on ourselves. As human beings, and especially as creative individuals, and we live in a world where we see everybody's highlight reels that we tend to forget that we're missing the context of what goes on behind the scenes. We hold ourselves to these ridiculous standards that make us procrastinate on our goals for one reason or another. So what do? How do we mend the disconnection with ourselves and heal the inner critic that makes us question the validity of our work? For starters, we do the inner work. We find the root, we look to our younger self, and we ask them, what would make you happy right now? And then we do that very thing. We detach ourselves from the assumption of what society wants from us, and we do what fulfills us this very moment with the thought of, if it were to all end tomorrow, would I be satisfied? With spring around the corner and sunsets pushing closer and closer to 7 p.m. and life continuing to move forward and pick up speed, I knew that it was the perfect time to do some inner work. I saw signs and nudges to pick up the artist's way. After almost over a year of me not interacting with the book, and I noticed I was becoming hypersensitive and extra critical over how I was showing up in life, that I was beginning to bleed on the people I loved with that same energy, with my external reality and people close to me beginning to reflect back and beginning to question me in the same way I was critiquing myself. I knew that it was a call to ground myself in my why. I needed to remember my pillars. I needed to pull myself out of my head and back into my body. And we forget we're allowed to take a step back and recalibrate. The journey is never going to be linear, and every now and then our emotions are going to get the best of us. By taking intentional time to ground ourselves and remember that we have more control over how we feel and what actions we take, we can get back on our proverbial horse and ride off towards the sunset, towards our dreams, more determined than before. On the day that I'm filming this, it is a new moon. It's an eclipse in Virgo, I believe, full lunar eclipse. I should have looked that up before. It's Venus retrograde. Mercury is about to go retrograde tomorrow. And I also decided I needed to cut my hair again. And I recognize that if I don't take this time now to get up off my ass and take deliberate action, then I fear I will fall back into a cycle I know I have experienced more than enough times as it is. At least I'm at a point now where I'm more scared of not achieving what it is that I want out of this life than actually doing the thing, which is a great place to be. I just started my 6-month developing artist program, which is a great challenge. It's a week-to-week challenge, and I believe it's 6 months, which is 6 months, which is 24 weeks, which is technically 2 sessions of the Artist's Way. And I also have the secondary book, Walking in This World. So I'm going to do this one for the first 12 weeks, and then I'll do this one for the second 12 weeks. And by the end of it, I'm going to be a completely different person. And that's very exciting. I haven't done this with you guys in a while. Oh, I did. Now that I'm done with my script, I wanted to read some of my highlights from this book. The first highlight is, I teach people to let themselves be creative because creativity is innate. Necessity, not virtue, was the beginning of my spirituality. And for myself, I have always been spiritual. I've always been creative. I'm scared that my microphone is going to be picking up my laptop starting to Go crazy. I highlighted please use them and pass them on, which is what I'm doing with you guys. I'm passing on the lessons. Our creative artist is an inner youngster and prone to critical thinking, or prone to childish thinking. That's fine. The heart of creativity is an experience of the mystical union. The heart of the mystical union is an experience of creativity. My favorite, leap and the net will appear. I've been saying that so much these days. We often resist what we most need. Sound familiar? Frustrations and rewards exist at all levels on the path. Also sound familiar? We must allow the bolt of pain to strike us. Remember, this is useful pain. Lightning illuminates. I like that. Oh, I also did. This is old. I think from one of my first sessions, I did this part. But it says, do you tell yourself that if you only took your creative potential seriously, you might? Stop telling yourself it's too late. Stop waiting until you make enough money to do something you'd really love. Stop telling yourself it's just my ego whenever you yearn for a more creative life. Stop telling yourself that dreams don't matter, that they are only dreams and that you should be more sensible. Stop fearing that your friends and family would think you crazy. Stop telling yourself, I think that's a typo because it says you crazy instead of you're crazy. But if she meant you crazy, you're right. Stop telling yourself that creativity is a luxury and that you should be grateful for what you got. And then basic tools. Even if we look like functioning artists to the world, we feel we never do enough and what we do isn't right. We are victims of our own internalized perfectionist, a nasty internal and eternal critic, the censor who resides on our left brain and keeps up a constant stream of subversive remarks that are often disguised as the truth. That's real. Some of the best creative work gets done on the days where you feel that everything you're doing is just plain junk. Your artist is a child and it needs to be fed. Morning pages teach logic brain to stand aside and let artist brain play. Artist brain is associative and freewheeling. Meditation gives us not only the light of insight, but also the power for expansive change. That's correct. Seem is the operative word. Oh, I get it. When I act on the advice I have been given, it is exactly right. Far more right than something more complicated would have been. That's real, guys. You cannot afford not to find time for artist dates, which is something so real. I forget to spend intentional time with myself, even though I spend a lot of time with myself, as it is. Intentional quality time is different than spending time, if that makes any sense. I'm pretty sure it does. Recognize this resistance as fear of intimacy, self-intimacy. Wow, who just said that? Me. It is probable that these self-disclosures, frightening though they are, will lead to the building of a real relationship, one in which the participants are free to be who they are and become what they wish. In order to have a real relationship with our creativity, we must take the time and care to cultivate it. The truth is that work can dry up because it is going so well. That's real. Feeling the well involves the active pursuit of images to refresh our artistic reservoirs. Art is born in attention. When we work at our art, we dip into the well of our experience and scoop out images. In filling the well, think magic. Think delight. Think fun. Do not think duty. Do not do what you should do. Sight leads to insight. We need to encounter our life experiences, not ignore them. Very good information, guys. Okay, and then now we're entering the official week 1, which is called Recovering a Sense of Safety. Oh, I did a little bracket on this. Edwin's is not an isolated case. All too often, the artistic urges of the artist child are ignored or suppressed. Often with the best intentions, parents try to foster a different, more sensible self for the child. Stop daydreaming is one frequently heard admonition. You'll never amount to anything if you keep on with your head in the clouds is another. Very sad, but true. Audacity, not talent, makes one person an artist. Have the audacity. Shadow artists, all these women needed to place themselves and their dreams stage center. Remember, it takes nurturing to make an artist. In order to move from the realm of shadow into the light of creativity, shadow artists must learn to take themselves seriously. Learning to allow themselves to play is hard work. To live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong. Judging your early artistic efforts is artist abuse. Real. Progress, not perfection, is what we should be asking of ourselves. Too far, too fast, and we can undo ourselves. Who said that? Me. We want to be great, immediately great, but that is not how recovery works. Also fact. It is impossible to get better and look good at the same time. By being willing to be a bad artist, you have a chance to be an artist, and perhaps over time, a very good one. Your block doesn't want you to see that. Its whole plan of attack is to make you irrationally afraid of some dire outcome you are too embarrassed to even mention. One effective way to locate the sources is to time travel. Break your life into 5-year increments and list by name your major influences in each time block. That's an activity. Ooh, okay, so that's the end. And I wanted to document I wanted to document my journey throughout this, because at the end of every week there is a check-in. And the questions are: how many days this week did you do your morning pages? 7 out of 7, we always hope. How was the experience for you? Ever since the first time I started this book, which, based on when I first signed the contract that's in the book, the first time I believe I ever did this was 5/2/23. So May 2nd, 2023. It is now March 13, 2025. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure I ran through this book 2 or 3 times in 2023. I don't know if I touched it at all last year. It's quite possible that I didn't. I don't remember, but I didn't sign it every time, or I didn't date it every time I restarted it. But I know I've done this a couple of times already, and then I did the secondary book once. So yeah, morning pages. Ever since I started doing them, I can't not do them. If I have a day where I forget, which is very rare now. In the beginning, it was more frequent where I would forget or I'd do it later in the day. It's now habit for me. I'm not allowed to get up and brush my teeth and like get ready for the day until I've done my morning pages. Ooh, if there's one thing, obviously the artist dates are very important as well, but morning pages, clearing your mind of all the woes, of what's going on, of what you need to tackle for the day, entering it with a sense of clarity and direction because you've written it down and just put it on the page. Feels so good. And now I'm working more intentionally by writing affirmations 10 times. I think I'm doing 5 different affirmations after my morning pages. That's also chef's kiss. Okay, second question. Did you do your artist date this week? Yes, of course, we always hope, and yet artist dates can be remarkably difficult to allow yourself. What did you do? How did you feel? My artist date is a magazine vision boarding day. I feel like that might be a cop-out, but that's what I'm gonna say for myself this week. But the Zoes and the Zoe spelling, Zoes, are in a lot of magazines right now, and so I have not glued it down, so I can't get up and show you guys or pick it up and show you guys, but I'll get a little clippy of what that looks like and I'll put it here, let you guys see. But it is so much more impactful that my name, except for Zoe Kravitz, because she has an umlaut and I don't use an umlaut, so I just cut off the umlaut on her name, so it's my name. It's so much more affirming. Seeing my name and the things that are being said about these other Zoes are also being said about myself and affirmed for myself. So I'm gonna count my vision boarding, magazine cutting time as my artist date, and that felt really good. Like I said, being affirmed and seeing the Zoes out there being successful is affirming for me that this Zoe is also successful and worthy of the accolades and the life that I desire. It is so much more grand than the life I'm living right now, and accepting and knowing that because I dream it up for myself, it's already mine. Beautiful. And lastly, were there any issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. Yes. So I started this. It's a weird schedule. It's a Thursday to Thursday schedule because I had the final nudge to begin the artist's way on a Thursday last week. And I just decided to go for it. And I was gonna force myself to finish it and have the first week be 3 days and then do Sunday to Sunday. And then I just realized to give myself the full week. And then I ended up needing the full week because I didn't finish reading through the first week until Tuesday. So I just agreed with myself to keep it Thursday to Thursday. But the place where I stopped in the middle of the week ended up being very impactful because I was starting to have feelings and things that were bothering me and vulnerabilities that I needed to express with Mr. Man. And I ended up expressing them to him yesterday. Was it yesterday that I finished this? Maybe not Tuesday, because we had this conversation yesterday. Or maybe I read it on Tuesday and then finished. Oh, where's the notebook? This will tell me where I finished it. Un moment. Oh, on the 11th. Okay. So I am right. So I did finish it Tuesday, and then yesterday we had a conversation where I spoke on what was holding me back. But when I came to the realization within myself and then journaled what it was that was bothering me, this part of the book was where I was picking up from. Ooh, let's see if I can find it. I don't know where it is. I don't think I can find it. Anyways, it was one of those moments where when I returned back to the book, it gave me the affirmation of what it was that I had already acknowledged within myself that was holding me back. I believe I had journaled about it previous to opening this back up, and then it was just affirming me in what I had already recognized for myself, and that I was making extra drama in my life because it was a way of procrastinating on the work that I needed to do. With that being said, you have dreams, not work ethic, and that is fixable. It is fixable, and in doing the work, in either taking on the artist's way or finding some other pathway for us to heal and find and make peace with ourselves, that we're called to this life for a reason, then we have no other direction to go than up. Success is already ours. It's already innate. And yeah, I didn't figure out how I wanted to end this video, and I wasn't really planning on reading you guys a bunch of that. Feels good. I wonder, in a moment of vulnerability, if there's anything I can read from this. Ooh, okay. This sentence is good. Or I'll read the first little bit. I feel tenderoni. I am soft in the center and I'm wanting to put it out on, but I recognize that I am using our relationship as a scapegoat, that I am finding flaws in him, in us, because I want to create drama when I should be pouring that energy into my art and into my cup. Maybe our distance is a reflection of my own distance from myself and my own work. That's crazy. But anyways, do the work, put in the effort, because you don't want to live a life of regret. I know I don't want to live a life of regret. I know that what I am striving for and working towards, my dreams and ambitions and goals, are so much greater than anything that it's scary. It's okay that it's scary. It's also okay to be unprepared and to not know what you're doing, but to take the inspired action and move forward towards those things is ultimately the journey. To have fun on the journey and to see by leaping, trusting, and knowing that a net will appear. Okay, that feels good. I like that. I'm gonna stop it here because I don't know what else there is to say, and I didn't plan an outro for this, but I love you. This is week 1 of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I recommend you guys get this book. It has definitely saved me. I had to tape, I don't know if you can see, focus. I had to tape like at a library to seal it because it was ripped from here and it's making its way up the spine. And like the bottom is crazy. There's coffee stain, some sort of beverage stain from when I was in college. And it's crazy. I was assigned this book initially when I was in my 4th year in university, and I did not take that class seriously. I also just wasn't in a place in life where I was ready to be so vulnerable with myself. It took a couple of years for me to feel the pull to do the work. work, and then the work developed me into the woman that is before you today. So I'm excited to continue the work and to see who I become in the next 12 weeks, and then another 12 weeks with the second book, but 1 week at a time. Okay, I've missed this. I keep telling myself I need to film a video, and then the fear of, oh, it's been so long since I last made a video. There's just been a lot, guys. And I've also made peace with the fact that I needed to take a step away. I needed to recognize what was pulling me and where I needed to go and how I needed to get there. It needed to form itself in my brain, but I'm glad we're back. I miss this. This will be more consistent, I swear. I love you. What would I do? Be kind to yourself. Do the work for yourself. Go all in. Take that first incremental step towards the life of your dreams, and then take the next, and then take the next. And I promise you, you're going to be very happy that you did. I love you. Hydrate, nourish. I'm about to take another walk in a little bit, especially now that sunsets are going past 6:30. That's beautiful. And I will see you very soon. Oh, I've missed doing this. Okay. Ta-ta.